Hey guys, welcome. Unflinching Alva, Spaghetti and Meanballs, Luke, whatever you know me by here. I know this video seems to be a tad bit dated already, but I promised to get my thoughts out, and well, here we are. I also didn't want to rush this video just to crank out content. I did really want the update to kind of settle down and let me have a good grasp on it. One thing to note, if you're new to my content is, I'm a pretty laid back kind of guy. I don't really like to yell and scream about changes and try to see the positives in a lot of things. I do have a full-time job, a wife, etc., so I do not spend all day playing Marauders. I play it very casually, say 3 to 4 times a week for about 4 to 6 hours a day. So do keep that in mind, that's the perspective I'm coming from. However, I am going to keep you no-lifers and people who can only play for an hour or two a day in mind when I'm talking about this stuff. With all that out of the way, let's get into it. Let's get into one controversy really quick, which is a wipe. Well, the wipe did happen with this update. Look, I get it. It's super annoying, but please try to understand small impact games might have to do this on occasion. If it was a choice between keeping the old quest system and no wipe versus the new quest system with a wipe, I'll take the wipe every time. Look, nice thing is, SIG said they won't do this unless necessary. I know some games will wipe to add a few guns and a couple of new items, maybe a new map on a consistent basis. No shade to those games, by the way, I like them too. I just don't see SIG doing this to us very often. In all honesty, I didn't feel like much was lost. Sure, I lost my cosmetics and expanded stash, but those things come somewhat easy. It wasn't the end of the world. Look, I know some of you people who can only play for an hour or two a day, you might have just got your first prestige, not being able to get all that stuff and expand your stash yet, and it does suck, I totally get it, but all I want to say is if we want the game to be good, we have to let SIG do their thing. If new better systems means losing my progress, I'm all for it. Multi-raid locations are great. Has to be one of my favorite changes. We all knew the suffering we had to endure to get a particular map. We all have stories of finding that damn half-track bike on Asteroid Mine. That story either goes, I got it my first try, or cycled maps about 16 times before I saw the mine. So, not only am I happy to say that you don't even need to find the stupid thing anymore, but now with the new multi-raid location spawns, you basically double your chances at finding your quest locations per raid. It's a super nice feature and one thing I think was needed, even from an aesthetic standpoint. I complained in my original write-up on the game that space was just kinda super boring for me. Don't get me wrong, it's cool and all, but loading in and just pressing W, unless you spawned turned around, what the fuck, SIG, until you got to the raid location just wasn't that interesting to me. Now I'm looking around and picking where I want to go. This also ups the stakes a bit more in the raid locations. I liked how they added more airlocks last update, as it made the maps a bit less predictable. What I mean is, before the new airlocks were added in Spaceport, going to the bar was a pretty safe thing to do if you sprinted there as quickly as you possibly could. When they added these new airlocks, there was a chance someone could spawn near the bar, meaning that a decent amount of locations that you were comfortable with are now less comfortable for you. Add these airlock changes with these multi-raid locations and you'll have no idea where anyone is if you go across the map to a different raid location. You could raid Navy Outpost for 10 minutes and then head over to the Terraformer. Before you had a general idea of where players could be, but now that a raid has been going on a while and you don't know anything, your information is basically nothing. It adds a real sense of tension to the maps now and I really like it. Quest changes are amazing and well worth it. This was exactly what was needed for the time being. I'll explain why I say for the time being in a second. The changes to Zero to Hero are great as well. As I mentioned before, not having to worry about that half-track bike is great. The main thing I was excited about was definitely the raid quests. Now when spawning in, having access to 2 to 3 quests made specifically for those locations that spawned is awesome. It keeps my crew playing longer each night as well. We used to do just a few Zero to Hero and clear out the 5 daily quests. Now we want to level our traders, get the reward money, etc. It's an excellent change that's keeping us more involved. One of the more controversial changes is that you have to extract to complete the raid quests. It didn't used to be like this with the old daily system. Killing 5 raiders and then dying still counted as completing the quest. This is no longer the case. I actually, to be honest, like it and totally understand this change. As you know, completing the old dailies gave you XP for leveling up traders. This is also how the new raid quests work as well. The difference is the amount you do. Remember, you used to be able to do 5 of these quests a day, and you were not promised the quests, and therefore XP, would even be for a trader you wanted to level. Now, the game gives you, generally, a quest for each of the 3 factions each raid, though it is a little less XP than before for completing them, and you need to survive to complete them. So you can keep leveling your traders literally 24/7 now, rather than every 24 hours. It makes sense from a progression standpoint to make you extract to complete them, and for them to give less XP than before. All in all, I love the change and think it's a good thing overall. For all those I can hear saying, well, it only helps Chads who play 12 hours a day level faster than the rest of us. Well, honestly, my opinion is that it's really not that big of a deal. As I said, I don't play 12 hours a day, and I still feel really lethal in most raids. Trader levels are excellent and all, but they come quickly enough. And good gear is easy enough to find in a raid, and I 100% support that as a concept. Looting should be more important to you than leveling your traders. It's an absolutely essential part of the game loop that needs to stay. We shouldn't be able to buy everything we want from traders. I will say, I still don't feel like there is enough content yet, but that's not a complaint. I understand SIG is a small team, and I'm super proud of them for this update. Not a lot of companies interact as they do with us. And not a lot of companies give these kind of updates based on player feedback. I can already feel myself losing interest in playing, but again, the update has been out for over a month and we've been playing it a ton. It also didn't add too much. There's no new maps or anything like that, but again, it's okay. I'm not complaining. Even if this was the level of content we got forever, I have definitely gotten my money's worth. I 100% think SIG will make more content for us, of course, and look forward to it greatly. I'll give more suggestions on what I think is needed to expand on the world of Marauders later on in this video. I might even make a full suggestions video at some point, so feel free to subscribe and stick around for that. The new boss, the Red Baron, is amazing, and one of the things I suggested in my original write-up. I have not had the chance to fight him one-on-one, but I've seen clips and he looks amazing. He did absolutely decimate me several times while I tried to breach him though.
Coming in to your left. Oh boy. Oh, he's already shooting at me.
I love his ship and I love his style. SIG knows how to make sick things. I think having more content like this is needed for sure. I would like to see a Tarkov system for each raid location having a specific boss. It gives us more things to fight and more cool loot and cosmetics to grind for, keeping people more invested for a longer time.
Oh, that's nice.
Of course, I would like to see more in-space bosses like the Red Baron as well. Hell, even having quests for him and having a hunt showdown style boss hunt sounds awesome. Could even be the purpose of an empty map without raid locations. Pod changes are great. If you didn't know, they can be shot by the stationary turrets and targeted by AI ships now. I think it's a great step forward for the whole breach mechanics, which in my humble opinion are not very good at the moment. It's too easy to breach people. I'd like to see some sort of mechanic where you have to disable people in certain ships before being able to breach or something of that sort. I would also like there to be more stuff in space that can kill breach pods. Small asteroids that they can run into, breaching mines. Hell, maybe even give me an attachment on the side of my ship where if I see somebody coming up from my left, I can dump a bunch of mines out, kind of like how the planes and helicopters have those flare things, for the homing missiles. That'd be cool. To be honest, the player increase hasn't changed much on our end. We're from the Midwest, and I'm not terribly sure how servers work, but I would assume I play on US East, or the USD servers, of course, or something of that nature. I've seen some people claiming that it's impossible to solo now, but I've personally not felt that issue. Even with the player count going up to basically 40 people, I still feel like each raid location has the same amount as it did before, and in all honesty, sometimes I feel like it's less. Now, I am sure it could be different for someone else. I'm not here to tell you that your experience is wrong, I'm just telling you from my perspective, the player count hasn't really changed anything for us. If anything, it made it easier. Blast armor is cool. I think it's a great addition to the game. It was a little confusing at first. I thought it was just added in with a new pilot armor, but no, most armor has it now. It's another cool feature to help you out when you're being bombarded to death by yet another scout with a rocket hardy. New items to find are always welcome. The banknotes are cool, and I like that they stack that high. The diamonds and new rings make the jewelry boxes a disgusting find. I welcome more stuff like this. Of course, the new battle rifle slaps and might be the best gun of the game right now. Not much else to say about that. More loot is always cool. I love the UI and sound changes. Everything looks and sounds a little cooler now. The repair noises and new backgrounds are great and add some depth to the world. It's a great change. And honestly, that's basically all I've got to say about it. It's a solid update, and I look forward to seeing what else Small Impact has in store for us. They're really great devs, and the game is already shaping up nicely. See, I started during the alpha days when you pre-ordered the game from their website and you did little trial runs, tech demos, if you will, and it's really come so far already and continues to be a favorite of ours. I do really trust SIG and look forward to the future of Marauders, and I hope you guys do too. Well, that's my thoughts. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, that would be excellent. It really would help me out. And we're going to keep uploading some great Marauders content, GTFO content, maybe Hunt Showdown, anything and everything we enjoy playing, guys. So, again, thanks a bunch.